Hey everyone, welcome back to the No Matter What podcast. I'm here with a good friend, Awwab, and I met him recently. I met him this year, and it was a blessing meeting him in my life, to be honest. And we're back, alhamdulillah. This is the, I think, 4th episode, and we're here to talk about Awwab, about his life, what he's done, where he's come from, to be honest, and his experience through business and all that kind of stuff. So Awwab, thank you for coming to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for this opportunity as well.
All right, so basically you come from a different background than I think most people would say. For me, I was born and raised in North America, and I just want to know your story. Where did you come from, and how did you end up in Canada?
All right. Hello, everyone. Okay. I'm Awwab. I was born and raised in Dubai. I came to Canada about a year ago. I have a bachelor's in mass communications. Currently, I'm doing my second postgrad course at York University.
Nice.
And yeah, originally my parents are from Pakistan. Like I'm from Pakistan too, but yeah, I never really lived there.
So do you speak it's Urdu, right? You
it's
guys
Urdu,
speak Urdu?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do speak Urdu.
You do speak Urdu, okay.
Yeah.
So you're multilingual essentially.
Yeah, I mean, my Arabic is horrible. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say English and Urdu is my main two languages.
Nice. So you mentioned that you lived in Dubai, or you were raised in Dubai.
Yeah.
So tell me, and you mentioned you don't speak Arabic. I think some people would question you and say, hey, like
Yeah.
you were raised in like an Arab country.
Yeah.
Why don't you speak Arabic?
Okay, so the 90% of the population of the UAE are expats. So most people just communicate either in English or their native language, because you're able to come by with those languages. Because if you let's just say if you only speak Arabic, it's still a little bit harder to like navigate around, because most people don't speak Arabic.
Right.
So English is, I guess, the most spoken language in Dubai.
Okay, I see. And do you find that helped you navigate life there as like growing up, or did you have people that would only speak to you in Arabic, or did you find it a challenge not knowing Arabic living in Dubai, even though you said like 90% of the people speak English?
Honestly, it was never really a big challenge for me, unless you went to like the local bodies, but everyone spoke English there, so it wasn't really a big issue.
Okay,
it
nice.
might have been an issue like years ago, but yeah, I probably don't remember it because I was too young.
I see.
So, yeah.
And recently, I think there was a meme where a guy says, "Come, Habibi, come to Dubai."
Oh yeah, I hate that.
You hate it? Do you agree with it? Do you think people should visit Dubai? Do you think it's a place to go?
It is an amazing place to go, but
Okay.
I mean, I went there like 2-3 months ago, and
Yeah?
a lot of people did come there, so
Nice.
the meme's working well. Like, you know,
I see.
It's this traffic everywhere nonstop. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, they say that Dubai is a safe country. It's a country, right?
Oh,
I'm very ignorant.
Dubai
I'm
is a
Arab,
city.
but like,
United Arab Emirates is a country.
is the country. Okay, I
Yeah.
see. So Dubai is safe, right? Because I know,
Yeah.
like, I think people say, oh, they leave their supercars and stuff.
Oh,
and-
it's definitely safe. Yeah.
Yeah?
Like
Okay.
the safety over there is unmatched. You can't compare it to, like, I didn't even know what life was outside that.
Mhm.
I didn't even, like, I had no clue Canada would be the way it is. It's not that bad here, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was a surprise to me. Like,
Okay, so
Yeah.
when did you come to Canada then?
I came to Canada about a year ago.
A year ago. And
More than a year ago now. So
and do you find life different? How is the cold? Like, what do you think about the life here in Canada?
oh, life is very different here. The biggest thing, I mean, it's gonna be a little funny, but when it comes to going to toilets over here, it's a pain. You cannot use public restrooms here because first
Okay.
of all, you don't have bidets here,
Yeah, we don't.
and also every single toilet has a gap in the middle, which I don't understand why.
A gap in the toilet?
Yeah, there's a gap in the door. So
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
in
that
the
feels-
public stall rooms?
yeah, that feels so weird.
Okay.
I'm like, whoa, what's going on there?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that was a big thing. Food wasn't really a problem here. There's plenty of halal options available in Canada.
Right.
The taste of food might have been an issue, but yeah, still it was an adaptation. But main thing comes down to like the way people are over here, the way life moves around over here.
Mhm.
So when I first came here, I realized, oh, I have no network. I need to make business connections. I need to make friends.
Yeah.
So my first target was to go to networking events. And so when I went to a few networking events over here, I was talking to an insurance broker, and I was talking to him normally. Everything was going good. I was like, wow, it's so easy to talk to people in Canada.
Yeah.
People are so open to talk to. But then all of a sudden, like his wife came nearby and she tried to shake my hand. And now in Dubai, I mean, people do shake hands there, but with other genders. But I was a bit more closed out. I was like, oh no, the next woman I touch is gonna be my wife.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is respectable though. Like, I mean,
yeah. So usually if you just tell them, oh, I'm Muslim, I can't shake hands, it's out of respect. They
Yeah.
understand that here. But over here, they were a little confused. They were like, oh, wait, what do you mean? Why? Like,
Yeah.
And then he said, oh, as a gentleman, you have to shake her hand. Like, that's how it works. And it was awkward, but I ended up losing opportunities there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a big part. So I said, okay, maybe, I mean, I can't lose opportunities, so maybe I should stop mingling with society.
Right.
So yeah, and then I wasn't able to find my group of friends. So I was going to different types of people, and like people who I didn't really associate myself with. I didn't even know these people existed, and then I was in Dubai. Honestly, I feel like
Okay.
I barely saw the world. That might have been a disadvantage of being in Dubai, because you get a shield from what the world actually is.
Okay.
So you're not able to see how society actually functions. You think everything is safe. You think everything is the way it is. You think people will understand. Long story short, the biggest culture shock happened to me when I got a job at it was a company over here, and the environment over there was a little different. It was like a Walmart version of Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
So yeah, like over there, like they made it a norm to like you have to hug the manager when the manager comes, and then I said, oh, I'm so sorry, but I can't hug the manager because I'm Muslim. Out of
Right.
like yeah. So when I said that to them, they brought something about gender equality up, which
Okay.
I was a little confused about. I'm like, oh no, okay.
Mhm.
So then I realized, okay, but if I tolerate everything that keeps coming my way, like I stand for nothing. I forgot
Right.
who I am. So
Right.
yeah, I quit the same day, and alhamdulillah, everything's been amazing after that. Like
Very
I got
good.
more opportunities, and yeah, so yeah, just don't compromise your core values, otherwise you forget who you are.
Right. So you say, like, I want to touch on the core values a little later, but you said that when you're in Dubai, you felt like you were shielded a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like, is there a culture thing? Is there no, like, I'm sure there's a lot of cultures and diversity there.
Yeah.
And lots of people from different countries. But what would you say is the factor that made it feel like it was shielded? Like, was it too governed? Like, what do you think it is? Like, not to get into politics here, but
yeah. Okay.
What would you say is that
I mean,
thing?
we can involve politics a bit, because I feel like because of it being a dictatorship, people feared doing something wrong because they didn't want to lose the opportunity of being there.
Okay.
So that definitely influenced people's behaviors into, I guess, behaving more and
Right.
yeah, not doing something that like they just lose the opportunity there.
Okay.
But when it comes to Canada, like since it's a democracy, everyone has the right to have a say and have a vote, and they can do whatever they want.
Right.
So yeah, I guess it comes down to politics, and then yeah, people just don't want to lose the opportunity to be in that country.
Mm-hmm.
So they will do everything to stay in that country.
Is it just because the life there is really nice? The food is good, I'm assuming.
Oh, the food's amazing there.
Yeah?
Yeah, lifestyle is really good there too. Food's amazing, business is amazing. I mean, there's goods and bads everywhere, but
Right.
the way they function society over there is just different, and it just works better than what works. But some people think, well, what works in Canada works better for them. So it just depends on people's perspective.
And would you say that perhaps maybe adapting from that environment and adapting to Canadian society being like very free and open, do you find that a challenge? Like, I know you said it was difficult when you'd have people come trying to shake your hand and you respectfully declined.
Yeah.
Did you find that, like, because you mentioned that you didn't know, like, you didn't want to have no morals and no values.
Yeah.
Did you find that a challenge to like hold yourself firm on that? Like, did you find it difficult to say, like, just to put your foot down essentially?
What was more difficult was seeing like, I don't know anyone here. I mean, it's their country. I have to, if that's the norm, I have to, I mean, just do what has to be done.
Right.
So because of that, I just feared losing opportunities, because I'm like, I don't want to come here and do nothing. So
right.
I have to make connections. I need to know people, because
like
I need
try to blend
one.
in essentially.
Yeah, try to blend in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned networking events. Did you go to any networking events in Dubai, or did you only start doing that when you came here to build like a community for yourself?
In Dubai, I was an introvert. I did go to networking events, but I wasn't the way I was over here.
Okay.
Because yeah, I was just an introvert. But when I came here, yeah, that's something I had to step outside my bubble and try to approach people. And yeah, and I mean, now people consider me as an extrovert. They don't believe me when I say I'm an introvert.
yeah.
Which is a little surprising. But when I tell people from Dubai I'm an extrovert now, and they go like, whoa, no way, you're not an extrovert.
Like the people that knew you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, I had to step outside my bubble to do
right
what needed to be done.
Yeah. And do you find that from a personal perspective, was that something that you needed to grow as a person? And would you say that people should take that step in any aspect of life to try to become more extroverted?
That is true. Like, in a way, you have to see growth wherever. Your life has to be like an index fund. It just steadily keeps going up.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the time it's like crypto. It keeps going up and down. But
and it crashes. And then
then it crashes. And then, yeah. So, you have to grow in some way. And yeah, I feel like extroverts do have more opportunities because once you just get more out there, more stuff just comes to you. Yeah. Just showing up, you're out competing more than 80% of what people are doing.
Right.
Because yeah, most people they want to live a comfortable life, which makes sense too. If it works for them, it works for them. But if you want to grow as a person, you might have to step outside your bubble and do something different.
I see. And now that you've gone to networking events, have you found any benefit to that? Because I personally, like, I grew up here, so I never really took that opportunity to go to those kind of events.
Yeah.
Do you find that it was beneficial for you?
It was definitely beneficial for me because almost everything I have right now, people I talk to right now is only through networking events. Okay. Even the jobs that I got right now were through networking events.
Okay.
So yeah, they do help. They do work a lot. Like you just have to go and put yourself out there.
Okay, so it's just a matter of putting yourself out there and taking that step and being confident in who you are to actually make those connections.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, now I want to talk about your core values. Yeah. So, or not necessarily your core values, but in general, because I personally had a conflict in my life here, being raised here in Canada, where I am from an Arab background. I am a Muslim and I want to practice my religion, but I found it very difficult when I was a child, going through middle school, high school, where I was trying to be like other people to fit in, I just wanted to be like other people. But as I got older, I realized that I need to be the person of who I am. So I just want to ask you, what do you think about people's core values and how should people approach being firm in who they are, or even maybe trying to find out who they could be or who they are, whether it's from religion or whatnot?
Okay, so no matter what you do, there will always be people who don't like you. There's always going to be a crowd of people who don't like you because everything is subjective in a way. So so if you are not able to reach your core values because of other people, then you might need to think again, because no matter what you do, there's going to be a crowd that doesn't like you. So when you have that in mind, then that will give you more clarity on what you can become. And you just have to go out, put yourself more out there and look for the people. You will always find people more like you. Right.
Because I find that especially here now in Canada, is that we find that people kind of tell you how to think.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, no, if you don't think like us, then you're absolutely crazy. You're this lunatic. Like, get away from us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
How would you say people should approach either those kind of people?
I mean, now you have an opportunity to show those people that we're not like that.
Okay.
So when we approach them, we cannot approach them with the same energy. Mm-hmm. Just be yourself, and the more you show them, oh wait, no, you don't need to be scared. Like, I'm not doing anything here. Yeah. So yeah, because deep down, I feel like no one's bad. Everyone has experiences which has shaped their ideologies and whatever they have in their head. For sure. But you being the best version of yourself is an opportunity for them to change the way they see you and people like you. Right. So it has to be collective. So everyone has to do that at the same time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, over time, people's values will change. And yeah, I've seen like both sides of the scale ever since I came to Canada. There are people who might look at us who in a very lower standard, but there's a lot of people who look at us in a very higher standard as well. Yes. And a lot of people that are changing in the middle. So I feel like that's always going to be there no matter what. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
And let's talk about you taking your values into your workplace, because you mentioned one of your jobs is you had this weird, or to be honest, it's very weird if someone asks you to hug your manager, because the last thing I want to do is hug my manager, to be honest. Like, I'm not, just pay me and like that's it, Yeah. So what would you say is like transferring your core values, and just let's talk about business for a second and work. Yeah. How do you bring your core values into your work, and how do you essentially maintain a good relationship with your coworkers and that ability to move your way up either the corporate ladder or to different better paying jobs? Like, how do you do that?
The best way to do that, okay, first when you know who you are, just look at the options. It's like chess. Okay, now I'm a Muslim, I need to pray 5 times a day. Yes. So before you get into the companies, make sure you have, like, people know, okay, during Friday I'm going to be gone for an hour. Why? Because I have to go pray Jummah. Yes. So before getting to the companies, if you say this to them and they understand it, there must be other Muslims who do it too. If there aren't, then you can be the first one to do it. Correct. And then you're going to build a platform for other Muslims to come and do it. Okay. Or there might be other people who don't speak up because they're too worried that they'll lose their job. Mm-hmm. But all it takes is just communicating. Anything, you can get through anything as long as you communicate properly.
Okay, so talking about communication at that point, how important do you think it is to like how actually I'll rephrase this question is how do we become better communicators? Do you have any tips for that? Because you did mention you studied communication and marketing.
I did. My bachelor was in mass communications, majoring web media marketing.
And what do you what do you think is a way that we can become better communicators then? If you know something from your education that you could share with us.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, from my education, I'm not really sure because it was more focused towards like communicating with a mass audience online when it comes to like marketing through means of media.
Right.
But okay, in real life, main thing is just know who you are and just keep doing what you have to do. Mm-hmm. And no one is rude on purpose. Like I said earlier, like it just depends on people's past. They might have a bad experience with someone. They might have a bad experience with someone who might look like you, but that's not you.
Right.
So don't ever mimic someone's energy the moment they do show hatred. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the moment you deal it with, you try to show them that no, that's not what we are.
Okay. Yeah. Like we're essentially the representation. Like you have to represent your religion essentially, or not just religion, but you have to represent yourself in in a good character essentially, right?
Yeah, you have to represent who you are, where you came from. You're representing everything. You're representing your family. Like these are values
that's true, because I feel like now that I think about that, we have this issue in Canada where there's this like really mixed like opinion on people from the Indo-Pacific, right? Like I think it's Indo-Pacific, like the India and Pakistan. Yeah. Like we have this issue where people are like a lot of like, especially online, if you look at some of those videos, there's lots of racist comments about like people talking about Indians and getting them back to their country and stuff. And I think it's a key thing to, I'm not pointing any fingers. Yeah. It's just, how do we tackle something like that where right now we're in the Canadian cultures, we're generalizing a population. Yeah. And what is something we can do, like you yourself as an immigrant, me, myself as a child of an immigrant, how can we help the society become better and stop generalizing a community? Because if we want to be very honest, the Indian community has helped Canada a lot. Yeah, right? That's true. Like if I personally look at that community and I feel jealous sometimes because of how hard they work, right? A lot of them work so hard, and it's not easy to live in this country, right? With like, rising costs of almost everything. But you always look at that community and you say, wow, like they're always together, right? Yeah. Their food's really good. Oh, and it is. And essentially they're facing this really harsh opinion of the Canadian society. How do you think we can grow out of that? Yeah, I feel like it comes back to something else I was about to say. Like, there's good people, there's bad people. There are people who had bad experiences. At the same time, there's people who've had good experiences. Yeah. But it's just that people need to realize more, oh wait, these people are here to help us. Like they're not doing anything. How hard they work, I don't think I don't work that hard. Yeah. Do you work that hard? No, I do not. Yeah, and I can't work that hard. I'm like, they're on another level. Like you can't reach their level. Yeah. So just because of that, first thing is we need to give them respect for that, because it's not easy to do that. And once we start doing that, and we understand that everyone's just here just to make a living. Like, for sure. No one's out here to show hate or do anything to anyone. Yeah. And it comes back to people's experiences in the past. And they always have there's always an opportunity for that to change. Mm-hmm. So. For sure. And you coming to a different country and living here for a bit, did you find it difficult to go back to your home country? Because I know for me, sometimes when I go back home, I have a lot of people like they point fingers at you and say, oh, you're the Canadian guy, right? Did you feel that when you went back to Dubai recently? I mean, everyone's already an expat there. Everyone came from their home countries there. Okay. Like most people are not locals, but they might have lived there. Honestly, no. I was able to integrate back into society very easily, but like I didn't have that feeling of home which I once did. Okay. Because I was like, okay, I'm here now. Oh no, but I'm going to go back to Canada and I need to make everything work again. Yeah. So then my head just goes into a different way. I'm like, oh, I need to make this work. What do I do? I need to make that work. What do I do? Oh, I'm in Dubai now. How do I bridge these two gaps? What can I do? Right. So I didn't have a feeling of home because I don't know what home is anymore. Yeah. I left home to make a new home. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, but everyone was willing to take me, and I never faced anything like that. But what you're saying is very similar, because when I was living in the UAE, and when you go back to your home country like Pakistan,
Yes.
yeah, that's when people do look at you and label you as, oh, this guy's from outside.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not from here.
Yeah, yeah.
So speaking of going back to your home country, have you been to Pakistan recently?
Oh yeah, I went to Pakistan. So I work for a charity. I went in April. I was able to see the programs like firsthand.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I went all across Pakistan. I went to Nowshera. Okay, Nowshera was one place that I held very close to my heart.
Did you find it difficult to go back to a country and perhaps see the less fortunate?
Yeah, honestly, it was very difficult because I never really lived in Pakistan. I went to Karachi a few times, but even living in Karachi, I didn't live there for too long. But when I was able to see the villages, how people are living there, what conditions they're living in, and then I realized, oh wait, we're able to help people, and like that was a big deal. Like they look at us like kings. If we go there, they look at us like, oh, this guy's a king.
Yes.
And honestly, we are kings. We have to be more grateful for our position, and Alhamdulillah, we're very fortunate for like the situation we were in.
Yes, for sure.
And yeah, like it really changed the way I view the world, because at the same time, in the same world, there's one person sleeping on a bed. At the same time, there's another one sleeping on sand.
Right.
So yeah, at the same time, someone is worried about, oh, I have no shoes to wear, and another person has no shoes to wear at all.
At all. That's true.
Yeah.
Or like what shoes are you going to wear tomorrow? Or,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And do you find that, like, how does it feel to work for a charity or a charitable organization? Do you feel different?
So it's more of an investment for the afterlife.
Okay.
It feels amazing that I'm able to be a part of a community where I'm able to help people.
Yes.
And yeah, at the end of the day, it's an investment for the afterlife. I might not get as much in this world, but we only do it for the investment of afterlife.
Did you get any backlash from family when you said that you were helping out a charitable organization?
No, even my parents, we also, my dad does a lot of charity work in Africa because he goes there regularly for his work. So we were not like completely new to it. Like they did do it, but they didn't do it they didn't do it through an actual charity. They did it on their own, like through collecting, and then yeah.
So, like, I know I asked you if you got any backlash from family, but I want to talk about that because I feel like a lot of the times in our cultures and our families and our villages and all that, we tend to face a lot of backlash when we kind of deviate a little bit from what our culture does.
Yeah.
And how would you advise someone to not necessarily, I'm not saying deviate from the culture in a bad way, right? But how would you advise someone to, like, how can we deal with backlash when it comes to family if we're trying to do something for the greater good?
I mean, why are we doing it for the greater good? Because we want an investment for the afterlife.
Okay.
As a Muslim, like, we have to do these things.
Correct.
Because, like, I like to think every dollar that I donate right now is going to be the money I'm going to get back in Jannah.
Okay.
So when you view it as that, and just the fact that Islam tells us to donate, Islam tells us to help someone whenever you can help someone.
Yes.
So you need to bring back those values and replace it with culture. But I feel like even in the Pakistani culture, it's a very giving culture, because it's an Islamic culture.
Right.
So we tend to help the less fortunate as much as we can.
I see. And would you advise people to get out of that comfort zone and try to give more? Like, how can you change your mindset to be a more giving person? Because I know, like just to like give some, I guess, background on the question is, like, especially nowadays with, like, you know, cost of food, cost of living, you know, your rent's expensive, right? Food's expensive, travel is expensive. How can you find it in you to say, okay, I have $10, let me donate this? How can we become more generous? Because I think generosity is one of those traits that is really good to have.
No, I feel like everyone is generous in a way.
Okay.
The biggest fear when it comes to people donating, they're not able to see where exactly the money's going.
I see.
So, and unfortunately, there's a lot of fraud that happens in this work too.
Yes.
So people just want to ensure that the money is going to the right places.
Yeah.
And the way they can make that happen is they can go to their own communities and see the less fortunate and give it over there.
Correct.
Or if they trust someone who's trustworthy, they can give it through there. So I guess that's where they can get started. But I'm sure everyone in their nature, they want to give back, but they're just worried that it's not going to go to the right places.
Can we give in other forms, like other than money? Like, how can we be more generous with our time? How can we be more generous with perhaps our food, are, you know what I mean? Like, how
Yeah.
can we more, like, I understand monetary, like when people say give, a lot of people tend to think of monetary.
That's true, yeah.
But how can we be more generous with our time or with everything else we have, really?
I mean, not everyone's able to give. Like, not everyone's in a position to give back financially, but
Right.
they can give back in another way. For example, social media is big.
Yeah.
If you want to raise awareness for a cause, where else would you go?
All right. So Awwab, I want to talk to you about your work and what you do and what you've learned from going to school. Do you find that doing formal education is worth it nowadays, or can you build a business on the side by yourself?
Okay, formal education, it's a networking event. I view university as a networking event because
Okay.
the people you have in your class, like, you have no idea. You could have the next Elon Musk in your class. You could have
True.
the next Mark Zuckerberg in your class. And your professors, they already have crazy connections.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, even the charity, I was introduced to that through my professor.
Okay.
If you view university in a different way, there's always value. There's always value for people who go seeking for it.
Okay.
So yeah, like, but when I was studying, like, I can't just do one thing. I want to do multiple things at once. So, like, even when I was doing my bachelor's, I started working at the age of 16. I was working here
Wow.
and there. So I worked at plenty of different industries. I started with food and beverage. Then I moved on to business development. Then I was in sales to a certain point. Then
Wow.
I was in marketing. But then one thing that I fell in love with was CRM development.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a coincidence how I got started in building CRMs. I don't have a degree in anything related to tech. I probably don't know how to spell tech. I think there's a Z somewhere there. So, like,
Just to make it understandable for the audience, what is CRM? Can you define it?
okay, CRM is customer relationship management. So you
Okay.
must have heard of softwares like Zoho. You must have
Yeah.
heard other softwares like Salesforce, the most popular CRM out there.
Okay.
When I realized, oh, this is something I could do. So when I was working for sales, I wasn't getting enough sales. So I was like, oh no, I need to do something. I need to tell him something. I think he's going to fire me. So
Yeah.
then I said, oh, I don't think you're using a CRM to its fullest potential. And I had no idea what I was saying. But then I started Googling stuff here and there, learning more about it. They were using Zoho. And I realized, oh, there were so many things I could have automated, which I didn't know before. So when, let's just say you have sales. Now you can see the analytics of sales are very important. So you
Correct.
can see how much money someone brought. How did they bring the money? Which product is selling well? Which one is not gaining any traction?
Yeah.
And then you can also add them to email sequences. So so while doing all these things, I was able to automate a big chunk of it because they were manually sending emails through the CRM.
Oh, wow.
And there's always like multiple ways of doing the same thing.
Correct.
After that, I was like, okay, I want to do this for a living. So then I started getting to Microsoft Dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized, oh, wait, like, I made my own company. It's called Zeldrop.
Okay.
I made it around 2 years. So I started with Microsoft Dynamics, but it was very hard to sell stuff related to Microsoft Dynamics because it's a very big software and it's a very expensive software.
Okay.
So it's more like, it's more for bigger companies. You cannot target Microsoft Dynamics with smaller companies because they don't have a use for it, and they don't have the budget for it either.
Yeah.
So that's when I started doing it with Zoho. And I started building custom Zoho CRMs for other companies.
Okay.
And that worked a lot better because they were also an entry-level CRM. And for startups, that worked perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got some success the moment I made that transition into doing from Dynamics to Zoho. Ever since I came to Canada, I haven't been doing much with Zeldrop, but as I'm in this podcast, I plan to revamp my website by my birthday, November 4th.
Okay.
And I want to relaunch everything over here again.
So I think we need to stay tuned for that. So anyone who's listening or watching, make sure you check out Awwab's contacts and his details down below. We'll also link to your website down below as well.
Perfect.
So let's stay tuned for that. And if you're in that business of CRM management or you're trying to scale your business, I think, right? That's how you'd use it. So if you're trying to scale your business, make sure you reach out to Awwab and he'll definitely help you out. And I'm sure you'd be glad to help out the audience.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Awesome. And like talking about the challenges of starting a business, how did you find that way? Because I know that there's like this theory where it's very hard to start something.
Yeah.
So how did you get over that hump of actually getting going?
Okay, so just get started with what you have. Like, most people think, oh no, I need to get a freelancer to do this. But I mean, you can learn it yourself and do it too.
Yeah.
But if you can afford to get a freelancer to do it, you'll save time.
Okay.
So two main things when it comes to running a business I learned was discipline and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to put hours aside. It's not easy to just sit and work nonstop.
Correct.
And when you start a business, it's like you're working 24/7 now. You're not working 8 hours anymore. You're working 24/7.
Yes.
And you can always do something on the side until you're making enough for it to become your main job. The way I found success was I just put my head down and I was just working nonstop. And I had to build a website. The website was ready within a couple of days.
Okay.
And once that was ready, then you have to be innovative as well. So, I mean, here's a secret for everyone. Like the way I used to find clients. So there used to be a lot of jobs which could have been solved using a CRM.
Okay.
Usually, most of them are related to business development,
like data entry and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can say, yeah, data entry is like you're always sometimes it's a part of like business development, but there's a way to sync it up with another CRM, so just that it comes in. So yeah, so there's many ways. So what I used to do, I used to design posters, and instead of attaching my CV, I used to change every single detail what the job description says, and I used to apply as a company poster. And at the end, I used to say why you should work with a company instead of working with an individual is because this is temporary work. And even if it's ongoing work, you can hold a business accountable more than you can hold an employee.
Right.
Like there's lesser risks for them. And when I did that, that's how I got my first contract.
So you were looking at applications, like to put it into perspective, you were looking at applications on Indeed or something.
Yeah.
And then you were essentially applying, but you were applying as your business, not yourself.
Yeah. Like I was applying with my name, but instead I was applying with a business poster.
Okay.
So yeah, it went through ATS. I managed to get my first contract through doing that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And were you able to scale it? Like how many do you have any clients right now or?
No, right now I don't have as many clients because it's more of like,
you're just filling out contracts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you find it, like, where are you? Like, I know that when you talk about business, there's a spot, like there's like this sweet spot where you hit like, okay, let's just say you have 5 clients and then you can scale to like 20. And
yeah.
Have you found that sweet spot yet?
No, I haven't found that sweet spot yet.
No?
Like, because when I came to Canada, it's like basically my whole life changed. Like I changed, even as a person, I might have changed a bit more.
Right.
I wasn't able to focus on that because I didn't see as much value as I would see in focusing on other things, like for example networking with people.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually I'm going to bridge it back together. That's the plan very soon. And once that's done, then I'll get the ball rolling again.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't found the sweet spot yet. I'm looking for a new sweet spot now. Like at that time, that was the sweet spot for that time. But yeah, my life's like crypto. It keeps going up and down. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's life in itself, right? Life is a roller coaster, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And you find that, do you get satisfaction from having your own business? Because a lot of people say that they want to be their own boss and work their own hours. Would you resonate with that?
I just want to do more. I don't like wasting time. So no matter whatever I can get my hands on, I just want to do it. And especially if I can grow as a person, because every year I seek growth. Every year I'm like, okay, am I the same person I was last year? What ways have I grown in? Like it's more like a personal reflection.
Okay.
So, and that's one of the decisions I made to come to Canada. I was like, oh, I need to grow as a person. I'm going to be living alone. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't expect it to be easy. But if they want to go that route, then it's not an easy road to go through. And I mean, they say like 90% of businesses fail.
Correct. Yeah. I think within the first 2 years or something.
Yeah, within the first 2 years. Yeah, they probably fail because they lack in discipline and consistency.
Okay. And I just want to touch on the thing you mentioned, is that it was a challenge.
Yeah.
How can we be more receptible to taking on challenges? Because I know for myself, whenever people are approached with a challenge, sometimes I back out, I get scared. You know, I'm human. So like I get that fear factor and all that stuff. How can we overcome challenges or even just face them head on?
I mean, you just have to get through it. You just have to know, I mean, is it a problem within, I don't know, a year from now?
Okay.
If it's not, then it's not really a challenge. Like it's life. Like we can't expect everything to be easy. Like, and good things take time. Good things come with hard work, and there will be challenges no matter what route you go through.
That's a fair point. And then just to maybe close off, is you mentioned discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
I know that's one of the things that's so like always talked about. And I mean, I'm kind of restarting this podcast. This is my first episode in months, and you know, perhaps that's negative to the podcast itself because I wasn't consistent with it, right? Yeah. Like technically, you know, you look at other YouTubers or podcasters, it's always like on a weekly basis, or, you know, they always have a schedule. But how can someone learn to be consistent, or how can we learn to be disciplined? Because clearly I'm facing that problem right now. Right now, I'm trying to pick it back up, but how can I change for the better for myself?
I mean, everyone makes these, like, everyone is lacking in some way. For example, I mean, I could have done a lot more with my company before, but I completely stopped. Like, when I came to Canada, I was like, no, I have different goals. I have to focus on that now. I'm sure something else came which you had to focus on more than the podcast.
Right.
Like, but you just have to see what has more value for you, and you just proceed with it.
I see. So would you ever tell someone to stop doing what they're doing? Like, would you ever give advice to someone to stop starting a business or stop going to school? Like, would you ever stop somebody if they're pushing themselves?
If they're pushing themselves, they can achieve anything. You can do anything you just put your mind to. You can do anything as long as you put effort to do it. So, no, I would never stop them. I would ask them, are you sure? Like, if you want to continue with this, it's going to be difficult, but you can get through. It's more like I want to support them while they're making this transition, because it's not easy. Most people don't have that mindset.
Yes.
Yeah, most people want a more easier and laid back life.
But is there a way we can develop? Because I believe, I personally believe that if everyone had that mindset, we most likely can move society really quickly.
That's true.
In a positive way. Not about changing opinions or anything. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with politics. It just has a matter of doing with the amount of things we can do with our time, the amount of things we can accomplish, right? How would we do that as a society?
So it's more about focusing on yourself first. When you're able to focus on yourself, you're able to reach your fullest potential. Then you look at your family. You're like, oh, is my family in the right place? Do I need to take care of? Do I need to do better for them? Once that's in the right place, then alone you can focus on society.
Okay.
Because we can't go after the society when, like, your own society at home is not functioning properly.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to reach your fullest potential before you can reach that level. So when everyone starts thinking like that, society will function at a very rapid pace.
Interesting. So I guess it always starts with you.
It always starts with you.
So that's building you, focusing on you. It's not about being self-centered.
No, it's not.
Like we can't confuse the two.
Yeah.
So I think we need to work on ourselves, focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
And kind of push yourself to be uncomfortable in different situations so you can become a better person.
Yeah, that's true. And we can never expect it to be easy. It's going to be hard. Life will throw challenges at you no matter what you do.
Yeah. And I guess you'll always be challenged about, like, if you say something, like if you say, oh, I'm going to be more dedicated, or I'm going to be more, I think something maybe everybody deals with is punctuality sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you're going to say, I'm going to be very punctual, you're going to be tested with that.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm going to be a punctual person.
Yeah.
And then show up to one event on time, but then you start slacking, and then you revert back to your old ways.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's just a matter of, like you said, being consistent. I know finding things are hard, like doing that stuff is hard. And I have a video on my personal channel actually talking about discipline. So I'll leave a link in the description for that. Lots of plugs today, but that's what we're here for. So I'll leave a link to the description of that video in the description. I'll leave a link to the video in the description on discipline. But I think that's the thing, is that's one of the patterns I've noticed as well, is almost everything we do in life, it's discipline, consistency, discipline, consistency. And I think through discipline, you get consistency.
Yeah.
Right. And it's something I think we have to test it in your life. If you don't believe me, and if you don't believe Awwab, test it yourself. Challenge yourself to a task and just be disciplined with it. And then you'll be consistent with it through the discipline. Yeah. Like it becomes like a full loop, right? Yeah. But Awwab, I really appreciate you coming onto the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll have you on another time.
Inshallah.
And do you have any last remarks you want to tell the viewers?
Yeah, just focus on what you're doing, and good luck with everything.
There you guys go. Good luck with everything, guys. But no, thanks Awwab. Really appreciate it. And it's great to see you. It's always great to see you. You always put a smile on people's faces.
Oh, thank you.
And you really raise the room when you come in. So thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
I think that's your energy.
No, man. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon, man.
Inshallah.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Right, take care, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And hopefully click that like button, click that subscribe button. Make sure you check out all of Awwab's socials and his company, Zeldrop. Zeldrop. So that's ZELDROP. Yep. So check out all that stuff in the description. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video, inshallah.